Yeah. Listen to this. We're going to Texas. Okay?
All right, let's go.
My kind of state.
Is that right?
Yes, it is. Okay. Lawmakers in Texas are proposing a bathroom bill.
Nice segue.
It requires men to use the men's room and women to use the women's room. Whoa, radical stuff, huh? In response, the NFL, the football people, they say they may take away some big events from Texas. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is with us now. I'm sure you've been listening to the badinage right before your visit here, Mr. Attorney General. What are you going to do about this? I mean, the NFL is threatening a boycott because of a bathroom law. What's going on?
Well, first of all, I think the NFL has enough of its own problems to deal with, maybe worrying about athletes that don't respect the flag, or maybe worrying about their violence against women's issues. I think they had to stay out of Texas politics and let us govern our own state. We're doing pretty well.
But what are you going to do?
Well, I know the legislature, I'm not involved in legislature anymore. I was in the Senate, but they are working on a bill to protect kids at schools and government buildings from boys going into girls' locker rooms and showers and bathrooms. But that's all being worked out now, and I think that's what the NFL is criticizing. It literally has nothing to do with them. It doesn't have anything to do with businesses.
Mr. Attorney General, on the left-hand side of the screen, I don't think you can see it, but that's Marine One, the President's helicopter, and it's a chase plane, of course, just arriving at Andrews Air Force Base. I think that's correct, is it? Or just taking off from there, I'm not sure which. But the President's aboard that. He's about to land, I should say. He's going to the Boeing plant in South Carolina a little later on this morning. Ken Paxton, why? I don't understand why there is such a big furor, such a big fuss about a bathroom law that says men go to the men's room and women go to the women's room. I mean, can you explain this to our viewers? Because I don't think they understand.
You know what? It's a mystery to me as well. If you think about it, we're not talking about businesses. They can do whatever they want. The state is not trying to regulate. All we're trying to regulate is schools, so that when you send your daughter to a high school or a junior high, she doesn't have to worry about a boy deciding on that particular day that he wants to come into her locker room or her bathroom or her shower. I've talked to lots of parents in Texas, whether they're Democrat, Republican, different backgrounds, different ethnicities. If they have kids in the schools, particularly if they have girls in the schools, they don't want boys in their locker rooms or their showers or their bathrooms.
Mr. Attorney General, hold on for 1 second. I want to segue to Juan Williams. I want to know if you agree with a law that says men in the men's room, women in the women's room. You got a problem with that?
I think you're creating a problem. There's no problem. I went to school, and I don't think there were any girls running into the boys' locker room. I don't remember that happening.
But the left says you've got to have open bathrooms. Anybody can go in. Or you could, if you identify with this sex or this gender,
now we're to the real
where you
issue.
Can go. So
that people,
you got a problem with this?
No, I
thought so.
I think that people should be able to go in any bathroom they want. I don't think.
Really?
Yes, I don't. Look, you close the door on the stall if you want privacy, and you do your business. I really don't think this is the government's business. I'm glad the point that the Lieutenant Governor made about regulation is very key.
That's fascinating. Juan Williams believes that you should be able to use any bathroom you like.
Yeah, you should come to my house. You hear my wife
No, don't make a joke of it.
Well, it's the truth.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you can use. What is your problem here?
You serious?
What is the problem?
You want to do away with centuries of tradition and say,
oh, tradition.
No, centuries of common practice. Men do their business in front of other men. Women do it in front of other women. Is something wrong with that?
I think you should do your business privately, Stuart. But
Ken Paxton,
that would be better.
I know you've been listening to this. Mr. Attorney General, I want you, please, straighten Juan out, will you please, Mr. Attorney General?
Well, I actually agree with Juan on one thing. It used to be that they let the local school districts deal with this. This law is trying to protect school districts from the federal government telling them that now, not just bathrooms, Juan, but also, do you want boys being able to walk into a girl's locker room or shower? Is that, you can't do, some of those are not private. And so I don't think there are very many parents in my state that would want their daughter exposed to any boy deciding on any day that he wants to be able to do that.
But of course not. But this has never been the case. And I think the real issue here is about people who identify with a sex other than the one that they were born with, and the question about their use of the bathroom. Because typically, back and forth, as you point out, if a boy, let's say young Stuart Varney, young English lad, walked into the girls' room, he'd be in big trouble. He'd be suspended from school, and that was a regulation of the schools, not the state, not the federal government.
You're right, Juan. That's That's the way it should be. It should be regulated at the local level. What the federal government has come in and tried to tell us is, no local school district, you can't make that decision. We're telling you, you lose school funding. If you don't let that boy come into the locker room, if you don't let that boy come into the shower, you lose school funding. You can't deal with that on an individual level or individual basis now. We're going to take that away from you, and that's what's going on here. Juan,
Mr. Attorney General, with the federal hold on a second. On our screens right now, President Trump just arriving at Joint Base Andrews. He is on his way to South Carolina, where he will go to the Boeing plant and address the workers and the CEO right there at Boeing, South Carolina. That's happening right now, live action presidency. Mr. Attorney General Ken Paxton, a judge in Florida has ruled that doctors can ask patients about gun ownership. I find that intriguing. What say you about that? I know it doesn't apply in Texas, but it's an intriguing question whether or not doctors can ask their patients, you got a gun. Where is the gun? How do you feel about this?
Well, you know, I haven't gotten to read the opinion, so I'm not sure how they came down, but my understanding is it's a tension between the First Amendment right of doctors to, you know, for free speech, and the Second Amendment right of people to deal with their guns. And so, you know, I think what the court did was try to balance those two interests as best they could. I'll have to read the opinion to see exactly how they did that, but that was my understanding of the decision. Yes,
it came about because a doctor has said to a parent, I'm not treating your kid because you've got guns in the house. That happened. No. So it went to court, but the court rules you can't suppress the doctor's right to ask whatever question they wish of their patients. I personally, I'm in favor of that. I don't see how you can restrict what a doctor can say to his patient. I don't think the law should come between a doctor and his patient. We can probably agree on that, Mr. Attorney General.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a doctor has a free speech right and can ask any question they want to ask. That's, you know, obviously appropriate, but and they can treat whoever they want to treat. That's really a private decision.
Okay. Mr. Attorney General Ken Paxton, Texas, thank you very much for joining us, sir. I'm sorry to involve you in such a contentious bathroom argument, so but nonetheless, I think we got to the bottom of it. We won. Thank you, Mr. Attorney General. Thank you very much indeed.